Severe thunderstorms tore through New York and New Jersey, causing widespread damage and panic. Powerful winds, reaching speeds over 65 miles per hour, uprooted large trees and scattered debris across neighborhoods. Hailstones, some as big as golf balls, smashed into cars and homes, leaving windows shattered and roofs badly damaged. Heavy rain quickly overwhelmed drainage systems, turning streets into fast-moving rivers. People were caught by surprise, rushing to find higher ground as water started flooding basements and living rooms. Power lines failed under the pressure, sparking and collapsing, cutting electricity to thousands of homes just as the holiday weekend began. Emergency crews worked around the clock, fighting dangerous conditions to clear roads, restore power, and help those trapped by rising water. What should have been a relaxing weekend turned into a real-life disaster, and the region now faces a long and difficult recovery. It all started Friday night, September 5th, 2025. The sky darkened unexpectedly over New York and New Jersey, signaling a severe storm was approaching. Meteorologists had issued warnings, but few expected how bad it would get. In just minutes, heavy rain, strong wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour, and large hailstones began pounding homes, cars, and streets. Trees broke like twigs, utility poles collapsed, power transformers blew up in bright flashes of blue light. Nearly 45,000 homes lost electricity as entire city blocks were plunged into darkness. The damage wasn't limited to one area. From northern New Jersey suburbs to upstate towns like Kingston and Middletown, the storm left chaos in its wake. The entire region was caught in a relentless onslaught of wind, rain, and destruction. For thousands of people, this storm wasn't just bad weather. It turned into a sudden crisis, forcing families to act fast to stay safe. In Plainfield, New Jersey, whole streets became impassable. Huge oak trees crashed down on cars and porches, trapping people inside their homes. Emergency crews reported numerous cases of drivers stuck in flooded intersections. Some had to leave their cars behind as water quickly rose above their hoods in just minutes. Over in Spafford, New York, golf ball-sized hail smashed windshields, leaving drivers shaken and struggling to continue. In Tompkins County, fallen branches took down live power lines, pinning a family in their car until firefighters arrived and carefully freed them. At the worst point of the storm, more than 3,700 homes in Enfield and Newfield lost power. Entire neighborhoods were left in darkness, lit only by flashes of lightning. Videos shared on social media showed people shouting over the pounding rain, hail striking windows as if trying to break them, and parents carrying their children through knee-deep water, desperately searching for higher ground. Travelers in the Northeast faced major chaos as a powerful storm swept through the region. Along the busy I-95 corridor, holiday traffic came to a standstill. Flash floods covered large sections of the road, forcing drivers to leave their cars behind in deep water. In Ithaca and Tompkins County, both Route 13 and Route 79, key routes for commuters, were closed for several hours. Fallen trees and downed power lines made these roads completely impassable. Video showed highways turned into fast-flowing rivers, with emergency workers standing in chest-deep water, helping stranded drivers.
How the fuck am I supposed to get across this?
At the same time, major airports like Newark Liberty, JFK, and LaGuardia faced severe disruptions. Wind gusts reaching 65 miles per hour and intense lightning led to dozens of flight cancellations and rerouted planes. Departure boards flashed with delays, while overwhelmed passengers waited in crowded terminals as the storm pushed into New England. Rail service also suffered major setbacks. Flooded tracks and debris led to long delays for Amtrak and regional train lines, leaving thousands stuck far from home. This storm revealed just how vulnerable the region's infrastructure is when severe weather hits without warning. As the skies began to clear, the full extent of the damage became visible. In New Jersey, especially in Middlesex, Somerset, and Sussex counties, neighborhoods were strewn with fallen trees, broken fences, and crushed cars. Emergency crews worked non-stop through the night, cutting down fallen power lines and removing huge tree trunks that blocked driveways and porches. By morning, over 45,000 homes and businesses across New York and New Jersey were still without power. Utility workers warned that some remote areas might stay in the dark for several more days. In upstate New York, people in Middletown, Kingston, and Enfield woke up to scenes of destruction. Entire blocks looked unrecognizable. Garages were crushed, sheds reduced to rubble.
Just take your time.
Local officials declared states of emergency and opened community centers and schools to serve as temporary shelters for families whose homes were damaged or unsafe to stay in. Firefighters and police worked tirelessly, dealing with flooded basements, gas leaks, and reports of people trapped in their vehicles. Public works teams rushed to clear storm drains, trying to prevent even worse flooding. The storm moved through so fast, leaving not just wreckage, but also a growing humanitarian crisis. Thousands of people faced life without power, with limited access to food, and roads completely cut off by fallen trees and debris. This was a night many won't forget. The storm's effects were felt far and wide, bringing much of the region's infrastructure to a complete standstill. Along the I-95 corridor, one of the busiest highways in the U.S., traffic came to a dead stop. Flash floods covered underpasses, and fallen trees blocked lanes, making travel impossible. In Tompkins County, New York, Route 13 was completely closed after power lines and huge tree branches blocked the road. This cut off a key route for both commuters and emergency vehicles. Meanwhile, Route 79 faced several closures, as state police directed drivers to take long detours around damaged areas. For thousands trying to get home, the journey became a nightmare of detours, stalled cars, and long waits in jammed traffic. Air travel was hit hard, too. Newark, Liberty, LaGuardia, and JFK airports all faced massive delays and cancellations. Passengers were left stranded in terminals as many flights were rerouted to Boston and Philadelphia. At the worst of it, winds reaching 65 miles per hour forced ground crews to stop runway operations altogether. Dozens of flights were delayed, leaving travelers scrambling to find new options just days before the July 4th holiday. One passenger at LaGuardia said, "It felt like everything just froze. The screens kept flashing. Canceled, canceled, canceled." The storm didn't just affect transportation. It also caused widespread power outages and dealt a major blow to local businesses. Nearly 50,000 homes and businesses in New York and New Jersey lost power overnight. Utility companies are warning that getting everything back up and running could take several days. The problem? A huge number of downed utility poles and tangled power lines. Hospitals in the hardest-hit areas switched to backup generators to keep running. Meanwhile, grocery stores and gas stations faced serious challenges as their refrigeration systems failed without electricity. In smaller towns, business owners were already cleaning up at first light, sweeping water out of their shops and assessing the damage to their inventory and equipment. Experts estimate the early financial impact to be in the tens of millions of dollars. And this comes at the worst possible time, right before a major holiday weekend, when many had plans to travel or shop. The situation remains critical as crews work around the clock to restore power and repair the damage. The cleanup is still underway in New York and New Jersey after a powerful storm tore through the region. While crews work hard to remove fallen trees and fix damaged power lines, the road to recovery will take time, possibly weeks or even months. For many families, the damage goes far beyond infrastructure. Homes, cars, and treasured personal items were lost, making this disaster an intensely personal struggle. This event serves as a stark reminder of how vulnerable our cities are when extreme weather hits without much warning. But it also highlights something stronger, the incredible spirit of people coming together. Neighbors offering help, volunteers joining first responders, and entire communities proving that even in the toughest moments, unity stands strong. If you found this update helpful, go ahead and give us a like, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to stay in the loop on major natural disaster news. We also want to hear from you. Have you ever faced a storm this intense? What was the most frightening part of it for you? Do you think the Northeast is ready for another disaster like this in the future? Drop your experiences and opinions in the comments. Stay safe, stay prepared,